Gentlemen, I'm very excited to talk with you. Listen, it wasn't a long time, but it seemed like a good time. And so I think I'm excited to break down your fun day in Hong Kong. I want to start just by asking in general, what got you in Hong Kong on the race in the first place? Were one of you or both of you fans prior to this? What made you decide to go from watching to playing?
So it started with me. My wife actually started watching the show back when it first began, and she's the one to say, "No, that ain't happening. You come here and watch this. Look at what these fools are doing." And so I started watching, and became a thing that we watch. We love reality shows, and I applied. I applied for Survivor two or three times. Broken the Tough as Nails, and this show a few times. And it's pretty tough to get people to commit. For number one, that you're embarrassing yourself on national TV. But two, it's a time factor. So I told Larry, buddy, you got to do it with me, and he's my buddy. He's not going to let me down. And so he started watching it and caught up, and I'll let him finish the story.
Uh, well, we got Hong Kong in the 747. That's about it.
It was
No, Mark showed up talking about let's travel the world, and I thought he was talking about cruise ships and everything. And next thing you know, we're trying to get in shape, and so many thousands of people fly, and I really never thought it would happen, and I'll be dang, it happened. So it's pretty cool.
so the that day of the first episode started that morning in LA, and we were doing video. We would
Hmm.
retake several things, and then three, two, one, let's go. So we raced around LA, got to the airport at midnight is when we caught our flight of the first day. So we were up all day. So then it was a 14-hour flight. When the flight landed in Hong Kong, then it was like, okay, guys, ready? Three, two, one, let's go. So if you work the clock, it was two straight days that we were just going. So fatigue and being absent-minded and doing crazy things. We were pumped up. All the teams were pumped up on adrenaline and fatigue, but didn't know it.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about, how things started to where things ended here because it seemed pretty close between you and a couple of the other teams. Was that the sense that you got as well, that while you got out of the dance last, there was probably a lot going on with the cabs and getting lost to the pit stop and everything that you were minutes away from getting eliminated?
Yes.
Uh,
Oh, it was. We could literally see the other teams when we got out of the cab. They were there, so it was that close. And that's Phil claims that was three teams that finished closer than anybody ever has.
Wow.
Between the black team, the yellow team, and us, probably 45 seconds. I'll say less than a minute because literally we were trying to get the cab to stop, and there was a bus there, and he wouldn't stop. And they were getting out of the cab. So, the time we settled up the cab, we were running behind them, and that's that's how close it was.
Wow. Wow. Well, let's talk about, what ended up getting you in the hunt there, but towards the back of the pack in the first place. So you get this choice at the fork in the road, sing or dance. And, dance wasn't necessarily your forte, but it sounds like sing wasn't either. Talk to me about what made you decide on that and how do you look back on that decision given everything that happened?
Well, like I said on the show, we couldn't pronounce even the stop signs and the just the signs of the streets. So we knew singing wouldn't probably be our best thing to do. And there was going to be two teams behind us, at the dance. And there was one team we knew was going to be about an hour or so. We were hoping they would be behind us so they would give us even more time. But it ended up they got in the other lane. That kind of
Let's
screwed us
we can call it like it is. I cannot sing, and Larry's worse than I am.
up.
So it really wasn't a fork. It was just the direction we had to go.
So then what ended up happening with the dance? Because obviously, it was a lot of trial and error for a lot of teams. Was there anything in particular about the dance that had you guys struggling the most with it to the point that it put you in last place?
I
Well, I
think it
think
was.
that the instructor, when you fail, you go back. And the instructor wanted to start where we screwed up, but we needed to start from the front and do the whole thing. And he couldn't understand it, and it's kind of getting a little bit frustrated. But it's a judgment call. We thought we did great the first time we did it, but undoubtedly we didn't. So that's it's kind of this. It's not like you can either jump over a 5 foot pole or you can't. It's a lot of discretion and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So obviously, while it was a lot of you running your own race, you had, as Mark was talking about, this 2 day period where you could get to know some of the other teams. Were there any particular teams that you got along really well with or got to know a lot during all these times when the teams were interacting with each other during your time in Hong Kong?
Yes. So actually, we and we were the more talkative ones when we're supposed to not talk to any team, or they're gonna electrocute you or something. We did communicate with a lot of them. When the first day, just a little fun fact, when the when we were sitting around after one of the photo shoots, and we were around each other and able to communicate a little bit, Larry and I had this scheme planned that we were gonna let them think that Larry was somebody. So when who were the 2 young girls? Kerrigan and
Cardigan, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, Bernie and
and
Kerrigan, yeah.
so she's a little busybody, just a little jabberjaw. So we had her with her back to us, and I said, Larry, they still don't have a clue who you are. And her little ears perked up, and so that turned into the rumor mill. And so for a long time through this entire show, they were trying to figure out who is who and who Larry was, and that turned into a big thing. Even after we were gone, it was still going on to who Larry was. And in the end, all Larry is, he's my friend. That's who he is. But that was a fun thing we did. But we got along really, really well. We would have probably teamed up pretty quick, and we had several teams that we were looking at. Melinda and Erica,
Hmm.
they agreed, hey, golly, we hated y'all got out because y'all was our pick. Jeff and Pops, man, they would have been great to team up with. Pops had a bad leg, like Larry had a bad leg. But there was, man, teaming up is paramount even in this game. But we were well on our way.
I am so stunned. So like were you giving clues away, or Larry, were you trying to like walk around like you had an air of superiority to you, like you were waiting for people to recognize you?
No, I had a beard, so everybody's trying to hide something if you have a beard. So that's the only. But it was so much fun because we knew she was trying to hear our strategy, and then when we, said that, oh, it was on. Even like at the airport, she go, "I know who you are." I said, "Shh, don't tell anybody else." And she's like, "I won't." Then she walked away. So it was fun.
Oh my God, I absolutely love that. Well, let's go from, the outward focus into the inward focus because Larry, you have this really touching moment on the mat when you're able to get really emotional and touching and open about your relationship with Mark. Talk to me about where that came from. I mean, maybe to Mark's point, was it the adrenaline fading? Was it just like this special time and place that had you talking about Mark in that way?
Hell if I know. No, I mean it's just you're in Hong Kong, and we had done the best we could, and we're in the middle of the race the whole time, and a few getting slow taxis or whatever just messes you up, and I'm here with my best friend. I had already hurt my leg as soon as we got off the plane, and you just have all those emotions, what ifs, and well, it just I don't know what happened, to be truthful, but yeah, usually he's a crybaby, not me.
And that's the fun thing. I got to poke at him instantly. I'm Mr. Unsensitive now, but when we were in our little week of quarantine, You know, he said, "Yeah, you're gonna wind up crying." So it backfired.
All right, I want to go back to what you said though, Larry. You said you hurt your leg. I know that Mark had said you had a bad leg. I think I heard you say something while you were going up the stairs to the pit stop at a certain point. Did you just like re-aggravate an injury, or did something happen?
No, what happened when we were in Hong Kong, we took off running for the taxis and it's kind of going downhill. And there's another team in front and she stopped. And when I planted my foot, I could feel my knee like hyperextended my leg. And I could feel the tendons. But it was type that it would hurt only if you moved a certain way.
Huh.
And um, it just got worse and worse. It started swelling on me, and about 3 days I had to wear ice pants. So, but that's just being old.
Well, the last thing I want to ask is whether your international travel plans will be put on ice, Larry, because you said this was your first time out of the country, and it was a short time, but it seemed like you guys, especially at the end, really took in just like the mere idea of getting to experience this, if even for a day. So what was it like for you for this to be your first time out of the country?
Oh wow! Like I told people last night, so our first flight was 14 hours out of the country. Then I took another 14 hours back into the country. So I'm about international, but Mark and I belong to a motorcycle club,
Right.
and we actually rode our motorcycles in. I think it was in September or so,
October.
up to Canada. We went over in Canada, so I got to use my passport twice the same year. So that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, well, this was such a delight to get the chance to talk with a real life celebrity and his best friend. No, it was a great time getting to the chance to again get a peek into your guys' experience because again we only got so much. It was a lot going on with that 90-minute episode, and I'm glad we got what we did. But I'm even more glad that I got the chance to talk with you today and truly get to get your perspective on not only what happened, all the fun that was had on and off screen, but also very clearly the bond that you guys have had for years at this point and will continue to have, and has probably been even more strengthened by your time in Hong Kong together. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to chat with me today.
Hey,
Thank you,
thank
Mike.
you.
Yeah, of course. All the best to you and yours, and take care. You have a good one.
Hey,
All
you
right.
too,
Tell
buddy.
Jackie and Lauren we said hey.
I will. I'll be talking to him in like half an hour, so I will send the
Hey, they are
word.
great. They are
They're so
great
much fun.
people.
I'm so excited to talk to them. All right, you have a good one, guys.
All
Take
right.
care.